Hey guys, so just got back from seeing Ender's Game at the cheap theater. I didn't get around to watching it until now. I know it's been out for a month or so, but before I get into my review for that, I feel like I guess I should talk about one certain thing that's transpired over the last 24 hours. Um, if you've seen my reviews or saw my Fast and Furious 6 review back in May, you'll know that Fast and Furious is one of my favorite guilty pleasure films, film series. I love those films to death. They're dumb as hell, but they're a lot of fun to watch. And the last two movies have been really, really, really good. Obviously, as we've learned over the last 24 hours, Paul Walker has passed away in a car crash. I I'm not a huge Paul Walker fan. I'm not going to try to glamorize him as like this great actor like some people will do, because we have this obsession with doing that when somebody dies. It's understandable if somebody like Gandolfini or Robert Ebert, because they are really good at what they do. But I liked Paul Walker was not a bad. I won't say he was a bad actor. I thought he was a pretty dang good actor, and honestly, I would venture to ask anybody who's a Paul Walker fan, what other great Paul Walker movie can you name other than Fast and Furious films? I mean, I really can't. Other than maybe Running Scared, which I haven't seen in a long time, which I accidentally saw with a friend, and I actually really enjoyed that because it was dumb as hell too, but it was really fun. Um, Other than that, that's the only thing I can think of at the top of my head. But it's really sad to hear about Paul Walker. Um, he, I literally thought that I'm sure I'm not the only one. When I first heard the news this morning, when I woke up at like 3 a.m. to go to work, I thought that was a joke. I was like, that's got to be like a joke that's going around the internet that's being reported as news. But then I saw CNN reporting it and all these other websites reporting it. I'm like, wow, I couldn't believe it. I was like, it's really fucking ironic. First off, and second off, as been reported, uh, they're still shooting Fast and Furious 7. I'm really interested in what the hell's going to happen with that. I mean, I'm interested in what they're like. I made the joke. I know there's been a few people make this joke that the next Fast and Furious is being directed by James Wan, the guy who made Saw, The Conjuring, stuff like that. And we've all kind of made the joke that, man, these movies are going to get really serious because like people are going to die. It's a James Wan movie. People are going to die in this movie. Well, looks like there might be a chance they're probably going to have to kill his character off like midway for the movie or something. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm interested in what they're going to do. I think that because of his death after 7, they should end it. That's it. I mean, I love this series, but they need to end it. I think they finally found a reason to end this series. When one of your main cast members dies, I think that should be the end of it. Um, but yeah, I don't want to talk about that. It sucks to hear about. Rest in peace, Paul Walker. It really sucks. You don't want to hear any of that shit happen. I mean, like I said, I don't think he was the greatest of actors, but he wasn't a terrible one either. But yeah, and obviously you don't want to hear stuff like that happen. But anyways, so I saw Ender's Game. Ender's Game is a movie that I went in with an unbiased opinion, like because I never read the book, never read any of the series of books that the this movie's based off of. I didn't even really know about these books until like this movie was coming out, and I'm like, what the hell's Ender's Game? And people were telling me it's a classic sci-fi novel, and I'm like, all right, whatever. And then I also heard about the crazy homophobic prick of an author that these books are written by. Which, if you haven't heard about that, type up Orson Scott Card and homophobic comments, you know, I guarantee you'll see a lot about that. I mean, to the point that the producers of this film wanted to distance themselves away from him. That's pretty bad. And the trailers I thought looked fine. I was like, it looks alright. What the hell? I don't know what the hell, you know. I from an unbiased opinion, the trailers looked fine, and I thought this could be a pretty decent film. Well, I'll say this: this movie was just okay. I wasn't blown away by it at all. I hope the books are a little bit better than this movie was, because, and I'm hoping that some of the stuff was lost in translation, but which I'm sure it is. I've heard some people that were fans of the book say it was, but I hope it is, because I hope the book is better than this. I'm not saying this movie's bad. It's just okay, but it's not very great. Let's say that. I will say I liked some of the acting in this movie. I said some. Some of the main actors, definitely. Like, as a Butterfield, I know I'm probably saying his name wrong, was pretty damn good. I thought he was pretty convincing. Like, you could believe that this kid was advancing in the ranks. This kid was very fucking smart. And, like, smarter than half the fucking people he was in school with. Like, you kind of wonder, like, how the hell do these kids end up, like, in this program when, like, half of them can't come up with something as creative as he has. I mean, you wonder how the hell they've even come up with this program with these kids. Harrison Ford's fucking Harrison Ford. He's fun. He plays grumpy Harrison Ford very well, and I think at this point in his career he's going to continue doing that. Viola Davis is... I love Viola Davis, and she's very briefly in this movie, but she's good. Haley Steinfeld, I haven't seen her in a fucking movie since True Grit. I was like, where the hell has she been? I remember, everybody was praising her from True Grit, and then she kind of like disappeared. I know she did a Romeo and Juliet remake that apparently was really bad, but she was fine. Ben Kingsley pops up and having a fucking face tattoo. That was really weird. They didn't explain that. Why the hell does he look? Why does he have a face tattoo? I don't know. Maybe they explained that in the book. But he's pretty damn good. He's Ben Kingsley. I like Ben Kingsley. Everybody's fine. I like the stuff like the mind games, like the games that they were having him play. I thought they were pretty creative. I like that. I like some of the battle scenes were pretty cool, like the strategizing and all that stuff. I thought that was really cool. I also like that this movie was, it didn't, like, I was kind of misleading. I like that in the fact that it really wasn't. I thought, like, the trailers make you think it's all like a movie about space battles and stuff like that. No, it's all about him training to become a admiral by the end of the movie. And it's kind of cool to watch. It might sound boring, but it doesn't. It's not that bad. Some of the battle scenes are really good, and the last half of the movie thankfully picked up the film and made it a little bit better. I also liked the twist a little bit at the end of the movie. I thought that was kind of creative. I didn't see that coming, even though it was kind of funny. I heard a lot of people that read the book tell me that they kind of spoil it in the trailers, and honestly, they kind of do, but not all of it. They kind of show a lot of that twist at the end in a lot of the trailers, but they don't show all. Like I said, all of it. But from even though I love there's some good parts of this movie, there were some parts I could not ignore. One, the first half of this movie, which featured some of the most over the fucking top acting and ridiculous dialogue I've ever seen put on film. I was literally snickering like while watching this movie, like the first half of it. Particularly like, all right, one, the stuff like at the beginning where they show, this probably is explained in the book, but you gotta, I know you can tell that stuff was cut out that maybe they should have left in. Like, why the fuck does his brother really fucking hate him? I mean, literally, his brother's trying to choke him at one point. Why? Why is it like, is it such a sin that he's a third kid? Like, it's kind of hinted at that maybe like they're not only supposed to have two, and that his parents had to get permission to have a third, which is really weird. It kind of explain that. Why do they have to get permission? I mean, that isn't really explained. And also, his brother just disappears. Like, he's mentioned, but just fucking disappears. Whatever. Also, the fucking drill instructor was really, the drill instructor and the commander of the salamander guy were way over the fucking top. Like, in a movie that's everybody's being very straight-faced, very serious, these two were really out of place. And it was like, it kind of got really comedic. The drill instructor, in particular, the line that made me really fucking laugh was the part where the drill instructor threatens the guy. He's so over the top at the beginning of this movie. He threatens the trainees or whatever, that if they go into a different sex part, like a girl, like he's warning all the guy trainees if they go into like a girl part of the training facility, that they will be neutered. Literally, I was like, that's a little fucking extreme, man. And I can't do justice to his over the topness. It's really ridiculous. Then it gets even more dumb when he like is very straight faced in the last half of the movie. He's like very inconsistent. Like, whatever. Yeah, I mean, the dialogue. Some of the dialogue is really stupid in this movie. I try to think of something that neuter one was pretty dumb. Like, there's some really dumb dialogue in this movie, and like, it's just, and then the admiral's really, the commander's really stupid. Just, and I in this movie, he's a cliched commander that doesn't want Ender to be in his group, and it's just like, it's very cliched. This whole movie, honestly, everybody, I thought everybody, I might be wrong, but everybody's talking about how original the story was and stuff like that. This movie's basically fucking War Games. You remember that movie War Games with Matthew Broderick? This movie's War Games, but in space. Because basically, in this future, where after the aliens like invade Earth, they decide, because this is what I got from the beginning of it, because kids are very good at video games and very good at like strategizing in war games, they decide, what the hell, let's make kids commanders of star fleets and shit like that. You're like, okay, why? I mean, it's like reminiscent of, like, how this movie plays out is reminiscent of War Games, like the plot of War Games. Don't tell me it isn't. I mean, then it makes me sit there and think, like, which one came first? I know both came out. I think the book came out in the 80s. I want to know which one came first. I have to look that up later. Which I'm sitting there thinking, did Orson Scott Card basically just steal the fucking War Games plot? But alright, whatever. As it is, it's basically, don't tell me it isn't. It's not the fucking plot for War Games. Trying to sit here and think out what else. Yeah, and also the end of the movie, am I the only one who really was fucking confused? Maybe I'm the only one, because I didn't read the books, so I probably didn't hurt, but like how it ends, you're like, the fuck just happened? I had to sit there and think about it for a while. I even had to Wikipedia it. Maybe I was just not really paying attention, I guess. Maybe that's... I mean, they hint at it. They kind of hint at it in the middle of the movie, but still, I was like... It was so very, like... It felt very minor at the events that lead up to it that happened in the middle of the movie that it didn't feel important, so I fucking forgot about it. So when it happened in the end, like, it comes back at the end, I'm like, I wish I could be more clear, but I don't want to spoil it. But I was just sitting there like, the fuck's going on? Like, and even like, I was cracking up as I'm walking out of the theater. This dad and his kid was like, sitting there, and the dad goes, "Did you get that?" He's like, "No." I was like, "I'm with that kid." I was like sitting there going, "I'm with that kid." The fuck just happened at the end of it? And I had to Wikipedia. When do you have to Wikipedia the explanation for a fucking movie? That's ridiculous. Maybe, and again, maybe my mind was just wandering. Maybe that, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm forgetting something else that I wanted to complain about, but yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, there's not much else to talk about with this movie. It's all right. It's not a great flick or a great movie. It's maybe worth watching on Redbox. It's not terrible. I mean, I've seen a hell lot worse this year. Maybe on Redbox. Maybe even at the cheap theater. What the hell? Check it out. I don't know if this will get a sequel. Would I see it if it had made a sequel? I guess maybe just to see where this goes from here. But I don't see it. This movie didn't make that much. I don't think. I mean, it made good at the first weekend, but after that, it dropped off. I mean, a month later, it's a cheap movie theater, so that should give you that should tell you how well this movie did. Anyways, I'll be back either Friday or maybe tomorrow. I want to try to get around to watching Frozen because I'm hearing really good things about it, and I'm really shocked to hear really good things about it from good friends of mine are telling me it's really good. People that I wouldn't think would like it really, really do like it. So I'm like, all right, I guess we gotta check this movie out because if you see I talked about the trailer for Frozen and said that it looks like shit, and I really didn't want to see it. But apparently it's really good, so maybe the trailers are misleading. So I might try to get around to watching that, or I'll be back Friday with, what did I say, Out of the Furnace or Into the Furnace, if that comes to my movie theater. Maybe if it doesn't, I'll go see Frozen instead. But alright, I'll get off here, and I'll be back one of those days with that, one of those two movies. Leave me a comment if you want. I always forget to mention that in the video. I read all your comments. They go straight to my email, so I get to read all your comments. I like any kind of comments. Haters, anybody who likes my videos, tell me why. Anybody hates my videos, tell me why. Don't just say your video sucks. That's not really a good criticism, dumbasses. And fuck you. I think I've said this before. Write it in English, because I am obviously American, dumbasses. Don't write me in Russian like the one guy did. But anyways, I'll be back in a couple days or whatever with one movie. I don't know what movie yet. Either Frozen or Out of the Furnace, and I'll talk to you guys later.